What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Black Couch Booking here with a new video, and today we're gonna discuss a video topic that you guys voted for in the community tab. We're gonna discuss the wasted potential of talents. Now, I had this video idea before we realized that a lot of WWE superstars were gonna get released this week, and boy, oh boy, are there a couple of names on here that I definitely feel are wasted talents that were in the WWE, and I wish the best for all of them. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. On the road to 1,000. We're gonna hit it very soon. So let's get right into the video. Let's get it. Let's go. So let me pull out my handy dandy notebook here. Right. First things first. So when I heard that this was gonna happen, people were saying like, "Oh, WWE is releasing talents," and I'm like, "Oh man, budget cuts again." But I had to think. WWE and UFC officially merged with whatever the name of the company is. I don't really care. I just care about WWE UFC separately, not as a conglomerate. However, I never could have guessed that them merging would cause this. I assume the same is going to happen to the UFC as well, where they're going to get rid of some fighters, maybe cut down some divisions. I mean, in a business sense, it makes sense because you don't want to have, all these people on payroll that literally don't do anything for the company, and they're just there and they're just fillers, and you got to find something to do. You want to keep the best people, which is not a practice that I am against. However, there are talents on this list that I feel like should have remained on the roster, even if they're not wrestling. Just having people be backstage personnel, producers of matches, train them up to be the future of the backstage workers for the WWE. I really think so. So the first list I saw, Emma. Am I gonna say for this list? I'll say everybody because I know everybody on this list. The next list, I don't know everybody because I'm not familiar with everybody on NXT. But Emma, Mustafa Ali, Aaliyah, Rick Boogs, Elias, Riddick Moss, Top Dollar, Shelton Benjamin, Dolph Ziggler. Now let me say this: people know I'm not the biggest fan of Hit Row, but to just release Top Dollar, that might scream volumes. If Asante the Adonis and B-Fab is still on this roster after all the cuts have been official, that should tell you everything you need to know. That those two are the better wrestlers, then they think they can actually do something with them, which I think you could. Having a quote-unquote hip-hop couple is something that I don't think we've ever seen in WWE. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that would be interesting to explore, make them a hip-hop couple type. You know what I'm saying? B-Fab does the raps and he does the wrestling. She's the manager, and you can make them a good, heel couple, I guess. But that's cool. As far as wasted talent goes, I'm definitely gonna say, as much as crap as I gave Riddick Moss in the past, I really think he could have been something because he started to have a good run with Baron Corbin when they were both heels, and even when he turned face, there was a story building there. I think you could have, like I said before, you could have had Riddick Moss and Emma become a Edge and Lita like faction with just them two, the couple. We haven't had the couple in WWE in a minute, in my opinion. Rhea Ripley and Dom, you can say, but think about it. I'm talking about like a real Edge and Lita, like a couple that's really getting on your damn nerves. I think Emma and Riddick Moss could have been that, or they could have been the opposite, like a Daniel Bryan and a Brie Bella type of situation. I really think Riddick Moss, Madcap Moss, whatever you want to call him, could have done something in the WWE if he was given. Bro, you had this man fighting in generic black trunks like he was Goldberg. Like that didn't make sense. You had him fighting in the generic SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 trunks. Obviously, he's not going to be able to do anything with that. But Rick Boogs and Elias kind of make sense to me because they both do the same thing. They're guitar guys, musicians, blah, blah, blah. But I think you could have kept one. If you kept one, I think you would have kept Elias. Elias can wrestle. Elias can do things, and people are actually getting behind Elias. He can make you music he can make WWE money, do the music market. But I guess they were just like, we're trying to move in a different direction. I think they're trying to get more, not serious with wrestling, but just focus on like wrestling and how big the star is and stuff. Like all the little campy stuff they're trying to get out of the window, which is why I can see a lot of people on this list is out. Aaliyah, I think would have been great to send her back to NXT. I'm not the biggest fan of sending people back to NXT, like I've talked about in previous videos, but I think Aaliyah could have been a Mandy Rose type in NXT if you would have pushed her to the moon and gave her the belt. I think she could have done well because there is no spot for her on the main roster. To be honest, I can't. You're not gonna see Aaliyah beating Rhea Ripley for the title. You're not gonna see Aaliyah beating Io Sky, Asuka, Bianca Belair. So I understand that there might not be a place for a wrestler like that, but if there's not a place for a wrestler like that, where is there a place for a wrestler like a Cora Jade? Just because you don't want to suspend people's disbelief, it's like someone got to be Rhea Ripley, right? Not be an underdog. Zelina Vega isn't the biggest woman in the world. You know what I'm saying? So if that is the reason why, because they think we can't find placement for her as far as going up against the other girls on the roster, you could clean up half of that roster, because half of that roster shouldn't be able to beat the half that are big and beefy, like a Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley. You know what I'm saying? That just makes sense to me. Or Raquel Rodriguez, for that matter. If that's the case, you get rid of Liv Morgan if that's how you feel. But obviously, they're not gonna do that. Wasted talent, Shelton Benjamin and Dolph Ziggler. The fact that you can't get these guys backstage jobs is absolutely insane to me. Shelton Benjamin is one of the greats. Shelton Benjamin is a guy who has been underutilized for WWE his entire career. People thought he was going to come back and get one more run. I knew he wasn't, but I did think he could at least get an IC belt, bring some prestige to the IC belt, maybe a US belt. He did some cool things with the Hurt Business, but, obviously that's going in a whole different direction now. And I really feel bad for Shelton Benjamin because I really felt like he should have won the world title at least once with WWE, and that would have been great, but that's obviously never going to happen now, which sucks to me, and I hate to say never, but I don't think he's going to come back. Well, why would I come back after you guys just let me go? And I was sitting backstage with Cedric Alexander, who's a young talent that actually needs to get some work in. Kind of dumb. Dolph Ziggler, man, this one hurts. Dolph Ziggler. I'm going to talk about a woman that mirrors Dolph Ziggler that also got released in the second round of releases. Dolph Ziggler is a guy that always had it, but something was always in the way, whether he got hurt, whether it was some backstage politics. Dolph Ziggler is what Drew McIntyre probably would have been if he stayed and not left and came back. I'll say it again. Dolph Ziggler is what Drew McIntyre would have been if he didn't stay. Like if he stayed instead of leaving and coming back. Because Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, they were both like slated for the same position basically, and Dolph Ziggler actually was able to cash in and get the belt. But if Drew McIntyre didn't leave, make a name for himself, and come back, then I promise you, he would have been in that same position, same as Cody Rhodes. They would have never pushed them to where they were supposed to be. Drew McIntyre is where he is now because he left and made a name for himself and got big and beefy. Cody Rhodes left, became a mega superstar, and came back. Dolph Ziggler stayed loyal, stayed down the whole time, and this is what he gets: a release. You could have made him a backstage producer. Look what TJ Dillashaw's doing. Look at the Finleys. Look at the Jamie Nobles. Look at all these people backstage. You know damn well Dolph Ziggler could produce a match. Come on now. Let's not act naive as if this guy isn't a great wrestling mind. But it's fine. He'll definitely find a spot in AEW or Impact or in the Indies if he wants to keep on wrestling, or he just wants to focus on doing podcasts or comedy and stuff like that. He'll land on his feet. I'm not worried about Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler has money saved up. Trust me. He's made some smart decisions. As for everyone else, Mustafa Ali, I expected that, but I expect him to wrestle in New Japan or something like that for sure. He's a guy who can actually go, who can actually wrestle. I'm hoping Ricochet doesn't get hit by this if there's a third wave of releases, but Ali, he'll be alright. He'll be okay. He's talented enough to land a job somewhere. Emma and Riddick Moss, I can see them going on the Indies, but Riddick Moss can have a Drew McIntyre type of return if he goes on the Indies and absolutely kills it. Follow the Karrion Kross Scarlett type of path. Y'all just link together, make something happen. But I'm happy they found each other before they were released. Second wave. A lot of names on the list I don't care about, but I will talk about the ones that I do. Dana Brooke, which is the mirror of Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion, a hard worker, did very well, but she was never given an opportunity to even be the world champion. Had a 24/7 belt as a consolation prize, but Dana Brooke is a really good worker. She deserves to be on another roster. AEW, I don't know, man. AEW is packed right now. She could go to Impact, wrestle with Naomi, Trinity, whatever you want to call her. I think that could do her some good, but I think Dana Brooke should be on the big stage. So if AEW can actually find a spot for her and just don't force the belt on her, that would be fine. Maybe she could win the what is it for the women, the TBS or TNT, the TBS championship, then that would be kind of cool. I would love to see that. Shanky, yeah, that makes sense. That he was cut because he's a big guy. This man don't know what to do with him. Omos definitely has a better run than Shanky, making the big guy dance. He's got like 7-7, like that's ridiculous. Man, Swad Marseille, yo, Maximum Male models. When they first came out, I hated the idea. I started watching the vignettes. I'm like, yo, this is actually working. Maximum Male models, in theory, could have worked. I don't think you had to take Maxine Dupree off of them. I think she could have stayed with them. I don't know why. Just go to Chad Gable and Otis. I don't think you had to have done that. And then if you were gonna do that, you could have pulled the trigger on Otis joining Maximum Male Models. Just had Chad Gable go after the IC belt. Like why did we not pull the trigger on that? But what's going on now is perfectly fine. It's no big deal. But I think they could actually work as a stable. Like, I'm so confused as to what's going on. I think they could work, but it's not up to me. As for everyone else on this list, I really, Quincy Elliott, sucks. Yeah, no one else I'm too familiar with or really care about, if I'm being honest. So I'm not even gonna mention. If you don't know, maybe hopefully I have the screenshot on screen and I'll make things a little bit easier for you guys. But let me explain something to you guys. When I'm talking about wasted talent, this wasn't even the whole idea of the video. You want to talk about real wasted talent? Let's talk about Shinsuke Nakamura and what's going on with him right now, to be honest. They're letting him challenge Seth Rollins, be in the main event spot, but we know they're just going to throw him to the side and forget about him in the next couple of months like they do. And then they realize, oh, damn, we got Shinsuke on the roster. That's literally what they do. What are they doing with AJ Styles right now, to be honest? AJ Styles should be challenging for a championship. Even if he loses, that's fine. The point of having main event players is to put them in those positions and they just make the card better. They don't have to win all the time. AJ Styles should have at least two championship title opportunities per year, because that doesn't get old. Think about it. How many people only get one shot and you're like, damn, bro, he hasn't got a shot in a long time. When is the next time Sami Zayn's gonna get a shot at the world title? When did he get a shot? Last year, basically last year, even though it was 2020, basically last year. When is Cody Rhodes gonna get another shot? Next year, WrestleMania? That's only one time a year. When is Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens, I think, is the only person that got maybe 2 shots, if I'm not mistaken. Think about that. We're wasting talent. Now Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, we're looking at the story, right? They're going to go back and forth. If this ends with Kevin Owens turning on Sami Zayn, that would be really dumb. That would be really dumb. Even if it ends with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso going against the Judgment Day, that's kind of dumb too, because what's going to come out of it? Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are getting those tag team belts back, and the only way they get those tag team belts back is if we're trying to progress with the story of Damian Priest and Finn Balor turning on each other, which now I don't know if they're going to do that, because the Judgment Day having the titles is good for the ratings. So if they lose the titles and the Judgment Day implodes, and then if you split up Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley, that's going to be even worse. So you kind of don't want to do that. So we have to see where it goes, but I mean, those talents that were released were wasted. We have a lot of talents on the roster that's still wasted. I'm hoping that downsizing the rosters can give more shine to the people who are already there. Cut down to size a little bit more. I would suggest, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. Let's cut them down even more to size, and let's make something happen. You know what I'm saying? So we could have even more opportunities for everybody. Let's have more multi-person matches so everybody can get a shot. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's the case, and if that is the case, then I think we're moving in the right direction. So please like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you guys think, man. I'm out of here.